Good morning, dear comrades, members of the Southern Cameroon's Council of Belgium. I did an update video yesterday wherein I was trying to bring to you the details of the deliberations that transpired during the fourth conclave, and that video was too heavy for me to upload it all at once. And when I posted the video, I realized that only part of it could be uploaded. I want this morning to continue where I stopped in that video, so that we can call this one part 2 of my report from the fourth conclave. I did stop in that video with our arrival at the conclave hall PC, and I started narrating the ugly events that we witnessed immediately we arrived the venue. I want to say that when we reach the hall, the chairman suspended the deliberations in order that delegates could come out to welcome us, and that was done. And we went we were shown our rooms, and we went therein, and we refreshed ourselves, and we came back and took our place in the hall before some angry delegates came in and started insulting, trying to levy punches, and in fact those were very ugly scenes, and I don't want to describe them because it was something negative, and negative things should be discarded. These are not things that we should be narrating in public. I would rather focus on the positive things that happened at the conclave. So when those events unfolded like that, there was a lot of tension, and the chairman had to take his responsibility to suspend the session for a second time, and all delegates were now asked to leave the hall, and the conclave was suspended. To many, that was the end of the conclave. So when I went outside, I saw the tension. I saw the way delegates were divided into little splintered groups. So I said, no, we must do something. And the idea came that we should convene an elder crisis meeting to try to find a way forward from that moment. So it was on that note that I approached our able Professor Carson Anyangwe, and I approached Dr. Ufongalafo. I approached Mr. Tassan, thereafter Mr. Milan, and I intimated to them the idea of convening that elders meeting to try to iron out the differences and the problems that were constituting an obstacle for the conclave to start proper. And they accepted, and they all converged in the Powerful Ngalafo's hotel room, wherein the chairman was also asked to join them. The chairman came in, and that was about 7 p.m. And they started their meeting, and they finished at about 1 a.m. And the chairman immediately sent for me, but I was already too tired after the very long and a complicated journey. So I retired earlier. So they waited, and in the morning, it was 9 a.m. when we were all asked to converse once more in the hall. And we went in. The chairman, after making an opening speech, now gave the floor to Patasan, who in fact thanked us for taking that initiative to urge them to convene that crisis meeting. And the deliberations were very fruitful. And Patasan had to renew his allegiance to the chairperson, to the chairman, and pledge his full support to the chairman. And also told us that during the meeting, a committee was set up to try to look into the differences and the problems that were plaguing the kickoff of the conclave. And the committee was then supposed to be doing its work while the conclave will continue. It was on that note that the conclave, therefore, started on the 29th. And we worked from 9 a.m. to about 2 a.m. 2 a.m. on the 30th. Yeah. No, that's 2 a.m. on the 29th. Yeah. And, presentations were made by the various departments of the governing council. The Department of Education, the Southern Cameroonians Education Board, headed by our able Mama, Dr. Lisbeth. She made a brilliant and a profound, vivid presentation on PowerPoint. And what I can tell you is that we are matured now. We have one of the best educational systems in the world, reading from the project, the educational program that were presented to us during that conclave. So I want to assure all our people, all Southern Cameroonians, that our educational program is one of the best. And once we get to Boya, that program will begin. We will start implementing that program. Sorry. Another person who took the floor was Professor Kassin Anyangwe, who insisted on the need for us to be united, to be tolerant, to accept each other. And he said that we should develop a high spirit of tolerance. You will remember that our struggle is something very new to everybody, and nobody is an expert. Mistakes will be made, but we have to learn to accept these mistakes. We have to learn to tolerate each other. We should not resort to insults, because those are the things that are destroying our struggle. And he even insisted that in some other revolutions, there are revolutionary codes of conduct which are there to make sure that everybody toes the line. And if you violate those codes of conduct, you will be punished. But that we should try to be together. I mean, that was to sum up the message of Professor Kassin Anyangwe. Now, I want to insist on this issue because if you realize all over social media, it is this aspect of, you see, not being tolerant that is really creating a lot of problems, a lot of division within the struggle. So, my appeal is that everybody is new in this thing. Myself, I'm new. We don't have experts in this thing. There's no expert financial officer. There's no expert auditor. We are virtually new. So we are bound to make mistakes. And when we do those mistakes, we should accept, we should tolerate, we should forgive in order to privilege the greater aim that we aspire to achieve, which is reaching Buea. That is the most important thing. That said, I think I had addressed the security issue in the first part of my presentation. I will not come back to it, but I may vividly just narrate it for maybe those who did not get the first part of my presentation. I was saying that in that part one, I was saying that the governing council took steps to organize this conclave in the northern part of Nigeria, simply because of security reasons. You will understand that the Nigerian authorities are today frowning at the idea that we are doing what the Biafrans are doing, and that the Biafrans, in fact, copied this from us, and they started frowning at us. They are no longer comfortable allowing us to be carrying out our meetings, allowing us to organize ourselves moving forward. So you will understand that when the idea of this conclave was circulated over social media, immediately the Nigerian authorities started searching the homes of some of the members of the governing council to make sure that we do not meet, that no meetings do take place, and in order to to enable us to organize. So on that note, we had Professor Awasum Augustine of the Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria, who took the initiative to get that venue where the conclave finally took place. And that information had to be kept highly confidential, because myself, I was very angry when I reached Abuja and I understood that I still had to travel to the northern part of Nigeria. So because we were patient, because we knew what we came for, because the stakes were high, because expectations were very high for this conclave, we had to undertake that journey, to go through the most dangerous route of Nigeria, and to reach the venue in Zaria. It is deplorable that some delegates came and did not deem it important to do that sacrifice to reach the conclave, and they had to go back to their countries. So I want to say that the fact that this conclave took place in the northern part of Nigeria, it was a blessing. It was a blessing because the Nigerian authorities finally did not even understand that a conclave took place. And if we had remained that the conclave must take place somewhere down south, definitely the authorities would have come to know about it, and this conclave wouldn't have taken place. So the fact that the conclave took place, the credit of it should go to the organizers for being that so intelligent, so cautious and wise to take us up north. Thank you. Now, coming back on the issues of invitations, you will understand that two types of invitations were given out. We had an invitation this time for the country heads, and the invitations to members of the governing council departments. And these two groups were supposed to meet from the 28th, and we had a working session that would have lasted for 78 hours. And the second group was invited. That group constituted of frontline leaders of the frontline movements, and stakeholders, important personalities, and opinion leaders and journalists. And from the explanation that I got from the governing council, that is from the chairman, and from the secretariat of the governing council, this latter group was the group that was supposed to be tagged the political group, and that is the group that was supposed to adopt the work that was supposed to have been presented by the country heads and the various departments. So the allegation that people were invited for the 31st because they had to come and only endorse what the first group did is false. That allegation is completely false, it is misleading, and it is malicious. I want to insist on this because this is the main issue that brought a lot of confusion, that brought about the uproar and the discontent that we witnessed during the first day of the conclave. I mean, if you are responsible enough and you are given an invitation, and with a date well specified on that invitation, is there any need for you to come on another date? So definitely you would have preempted that by coming on a date that was not assigned for you, you will be coming to create confusion, you will be coming to create problems, and you will be undermining the organizers, undermining the leaders that we mandated to govern us, to organize us. So that behavior, at first, I did not really figure out the implications. It was when I was briefed, gathered information from all the persons involved, that I made an opinion. And that opinion is that those who came to the venue on the first day and who were invited to come at the latter date were completely wrong. They got it all wrong. And that was the source of confusion. However, we can understand that when everything was settled and from the elders meeting, the tension got diffused and the temperaments came back, and we had to start the conclave proper, and we had great deliberations, we had a great working session, and of course you got some of the resolutions already that testified that we had done some serious work, and that of course the conclave was very successful, one of the most successful conclaves that we've ever had. Now, coming to the issue of the SCAPAC, of the SCAPAC accounts, well, I would say that the government, we debated at length on this, and the governing council, we directed the governing council to take steps into making sure that a department of treasury is created and attached to the new Ministry of Finance that will be created with the new government. So, SCAPAC, however, will remain, but because the Foley law firm will need SCAPAC, SCAPAC will remain, and but the account, monies will no longer be contributed into that account, but the governing council will make sure that money is sent from time to time into that account for the purpose of enabling the Foley Hawk law firm to carry out its mission of defending us, of protecting our interests, of launching offensive, diplomatic offensives in favor of our struggle. Excuse me, and now The other issue that I want to address now is that of the leaders of front movements, those that came to Nigeria and they failed to attend the conclave and they subsequently traveled back to the countries without performing the duties that they were delegated to come and perform in Nigeria. I found that very irresponsible and appalling. In fact, on the 28th morning when I saw Comrade Cho Ayaba, I was very happy. I said, oh, for once, Comrade Cho Ayaba has decided to take part in this conclave. Then we're going to have a great conclave. Only for me to understand later that he said if the conclave was taking place out of Abuja, then he was not going to be part of it. And he left for his country of residence. Well, I will not judge him. He certainly has his opinion. But I would want to say that Comrade Cho Ayaba is a guy I admire so much. I have a lot of esteem for him. I have a lot of respect for him as a leader. I am convinced that he is our leader. And please, when you are bestowed with such heavy responsibilities, you should understand that people are waiting, people are expecting a lot from you. And in fact, we miss another chance of having Comrade Cho Ayaba with us. It does me a lot of pain. And I want to make an appeal directly to him that please, great comrade, just humble yourself. Just be the leader that I've always known you to be. Just develop some spirit of tolerance and come back to the house. The door is open. The chairman has always opened his hands to receive you. And you understand that an invitation was addressed to you to come. And you did not honor that invitation. The responsibility is heavy. You need to try and honor such an invitation because we are looking up to you people to lead us. We are expecting a lot from you to lead us. Please, this is an appeal I'm making to you to soften your mind and come back to the house, come back to the table so that with the other leaders you can lead us. This goes equally to the other leaders of other movements. Please try and do the same. The chairman has always opened his hands to receive all of us. We will be stronger if we move together to Boya. It is on that note that I don't want to go into some intricacies because there are really quite a lot. But for the purpose of this presentation and remaining positive, I want to just end with these few narrations that I've given. The larger part of discussion and underground discussion, I don't want to go to all of that because it's negative, and I want to focus on positive things. That's why I'm appealing to these leaders to come back to the table so that we move together. Then we'll be stronger. Thank you. I want also to address the issue of Ambazonia, the Ambazonia movement of Godidinka. At the conclave, we were made to understand that Chief Godidinka categorically stated that he's not coming to the conclave because there's another group that has a chairman who is considered as the president of Southern Cameroon, whereas he is the legitimate natural president of Southern Cameroon. We shouldn't have another president, and for that reason, he was not going to cooperate with that group to forge a common way ahead. And that is simply the reason why the Amazonia the movement was not present at the conclave, because they consider themselves already as the main group that should lead Southern Cameroons. So I will not comment on that. Everybody can make his opinion. And going forward with my presentation, I will want to focus now on the issue of refugees. You will understand that we've got a lot of displaced citizens inside the territory itself, Southern Cameroon. We have a lot of displaced people, and now we got refugees that have crossed into the bordering villages of Nigeria, and we are in the conclave. We were told that there are about 40,000 of our people who've now crossed into Nigeria, and this is a real challenge, because we now need to focus on how to sustain these people while they are there. You remember that they've abandoned everything behind. They don't have clothing, they don't have food, there's no medication, there's no health care, and all of this, we will need to put our heads together, all Southern Cameroonians, be it in Belgium, Europe, diaspora as a whole. This is our collective responsibilities to do something for these people. And in the Governing Council, some initiatives were taken, given the initiative that Barrister Elat and his family took to collect some items, clothing, also medication, to bring to these people, and also the initiative that Boston took. Boston, in fact, shipped about 200 kilograms of medication, painkillers, and fever tablets, and so on. I mean, these are the type of things that we can do to sustain these people while they are on the other side. So, at our level in Belgium, I want to suggest that we should try and do something. We should try and carry out a project whereby, I mean, you do not need to have money to participate. Please, if you have an excess, maybe a shirt, maybe a pair of jeans, maybe even anything that you think you can contribute that will help to alleviate the plight of these people is welcome. When we must have collected all these things, we will now figure out the means to ship these things to Nigeria to help these people. We can do this. We are here in Belgium. We don't even have space to keep some of our clothing, some of our shoes. So we can surrender some to these people, and without effectively spending money. And we will have to organize that in the days ahead. There will be a committee that will be set up to mandate some persons to go around and collect these items so that we can gather them somewhere and ship. In fact, this will be so great in helping these people. Another information that also transpired was that there was a group of about 1,500 youths who left on their own, and they crossed over to Nigeria in search of, I mean, something to arm themselves with and go back and fight. I mean, because they were, I will not say maliciously, they were informed on social media that once they get to the other side, there will be logistics, they will be furnished with, I mean, equipment. I don't want to call some names. They will be furnished some equipment for them. They will also get some proper training, and when I come back to fight. I mean, these are the type of information that have been going on social media, and people have been misled as such. So want to say that we should be very responsible with the type of information we post on Facebook. I mean, social media is very dangerous, and we should understand that our people back home depend on social media for information. Some of them, for the most part, just read and are ready to execute. So we should be very careful. about the type of information we are passing on the ground. That is it on the issue of refugees. I want to now dwell a bit on the presentation that I did make at Conclave on behalf of Belgium. You understand, we in Belgium, we did support the initiative of transforming the governing council into a government. We did support that initiative during the deliberations. We did also support the educational program of the board presented by our able Lisbeth. We did also propose the holding of an international judicial conference in Brussels in the early months of next year. And if a lot of issues came out from the presentation of Professor Carlson Anyangwe, and going from that, that judicial conference to be held in Brussels is going to be a forum where our lawyers, international lawyers, both in the diaspora and on the ground, some of them will converge in Belgium and will put their great minds together to come out with formats that will be used at any stage of the struggle by the various councils of the world. There's a lot of challenge, there's a lot of legal work that has to be done, and this conference will define that. For the moment, I will not provide the details, but when the time will come, we'll provide all the information concerning that. On the way forward, we also made mention of the special fund that we set up in Belgium, and the challenge that we gave ourselves to raise about 50,000 euros to support the GOG. And we received a standing ovation for that initiative that we took in Belgium. You know, Belgium defines the pace of our struggle, and that anything we decide, we find the rest of the world will end up copying us. So what I want to say is that we are held in very high esteem. Belgium, remains the strongest diaspora council in the struggle. And I want to take this opportunity to tell those who go around propagating messages of doom for Belgium that they are wasting their time. I even heard some saying that Belgium is a mess, that Belgium is in chaos. Please, I want to tell you that those agents will not find their way in Belgium. Belgium remains the main and the most powerful council in the diaspora. Belgium is respected highly everywhere in the world. And if you were at the conclave, you could have listened to the narration that the chairman made specifically for Belgium. And you will also understand that during the Meet People tour by the delegation from the governing council, Belgium came out the best in terms of contributions in Europe. We let nobody deceive you. We are simply the best. So it is on that note that I want to end my presentation this morning. And of course, I've left out a lot of issues, but I've tried to dwell on the most important, because the conclave has ended, and we can all see that It was quite successful. I mean, one of the most successful that we've ever had. And that conclave has moved our struggle to another level. And there's no gainsay that we are on the right path to Boya. Thank you very much, and a good day to all.